I am done, I am heartbroken, and I have no one. I have been married for 15 years, and I have known my wife since I was 8. We have 3 daughters together, aged 17, 14, and 11. I'm tired of feeling like I'm an outsider in my relationships with all of them. I'm just an ATM and taxi service to my kids. My wife hasn't kissed me in 6 months, and she has not said that she loves me in almost 2 years. No matter how much I communicate, try to plan anything, or do anything, it is always shot down, forgotten, or dismissed. I don't get angry, I don't yell, and I don't get physical. I like to splurge during birthdays and Mother's Day. I throw parties, give gifts, and try to show how much I love them. I get a lukewarm, thanks, and if I'm lucky, a side hug that lasts a millisecond. This week was my breaking point. It started with Father's Day, and I woke up to an empty house. Odd. No note, nothing was written on the calendar, and nothing was said beforehand. I sent a text, and I got back, I took the girls out for a spa day, don't wait up. Then nothing, literally nothing. Dinner time comes around, and they get home. I ask how their day was, it was fine. I ask what they would like for dinner, nothing, we already ate. Cool, whatever. There is no mention of it being Father's Day. No I love you, no how are you, nothing. Fast forward to Wednesday, which was my birthday. Nothing. Literally again, nothing. I suggested plans, they got shot down. I suggested food, but nope, shot down. I asked about watching a movie, and they said they're all too busy when all they did was sit on their phones doing nothing. Now, to Thursday night, I'm in bed, and my wife is next to me. She rolls over and says in a crappy tone, "Oh, your birthday was the other day. I guess you expect to do it with me." That broke something in me. I said, "No, I don't expect that. At this point, I don't expect anything anymore. What is that supposed to mean?" So I started asking her questions. When was the last time we shared a kiss? Like a week? Nope, it was in December, and it was during your parents' holiday party. When was the last time we did it? The beginning of the year? Nope, wrong. It has been over a year. She was adamant that we did it in February. I was dealing with my mom's health and her passing. So I said something like, "You may have done it in February, but it wasn't with me." When was the last time you said you love me? I say it all the time. Not to me, check your messages, you don't even say it to me face to face. Well, you should just know I do. When was the last time we went on a date? There was a long pause. You're being unfair. Emotions turned on fully. I was crying and raising my voice at this point. I asked her how. She couldn't answer. I asked her how wanting any sign of love from anyone in the house is unfair. If expecting anything for my birthday or Father's Day was unfair. She had a shocked look on her face. Yeah, you forgot that as well. I'm not an ATM, I'm not a taxi service, I'm not a punching bag. She asked why this was coming up out of the blue. It didn't. I have tried to talk to my family and again get dismissed or ignored. I brought up examples. I didn't know you were serious. I didn't know it was such a big deal. I left, saying, if you want to pretend that I'm invisible and don't exist, fine. You don't have to pretend anymore. I left the house at almost midnight and haven't been home since. I'm not sure what to do now. I love my family, but I can't keep this up. I don't know what more I can do. I think they would be happier without me since they already act like I don't exist. I can't be the one who is blamed for everything. If I truly am the problem, then me not being there should fix it. I can't do it anymore. I have tried to be a good provider, a good partner, and a good dad. Never missed an event for our kids. Never prioritized work. I kept good hours so I could see them more. Took on more responsibility to better our life and future. But, it is never appreciated. It is never enough. I am never enough. I only have one message from my wife, I'm sorry for making you feel that way. We all love you, and we are here for you when you want to come home and talk. That's it. No other messages, no calls, nothing from the kids. I feel like if they really wanted me there, they would try reaching out more. All of the kids have their own phone. I don't know what she told them, but I'm sure they heard me raise my voice. Me raising my voice would have definitely gotten their attention since I never do. I'm sure they heard me leave. I just don't know. Update 1. I have not been well, but I am doing better. You guys have helped me a lot, and it means more than you know. I was able to get help through my work, they have resources for both therapy and legal counsel. So far, I like the new therapist I was able to get an appointment with. She recommended a family therapist as she focuses more on individuals, and I talked to them as well. I got referred to divorce lawyers too. I don't want to use them, but I had a talk with them and got an idea of what that route would be like. My kids did reach out after a few days, worried. I told them I'm fine, do truly love them, and miss them, but needed space and time. For the first time ever, I missed some of their extracurricular activities. I think that is what made them understand something was really wrong. My wife reached out a few times, just checking in, apologizing, giving me updates on things, and a couple of times, she asked about the 4th of July. We usually host a barbecue. I said I wasn't interested, but I said that she and I needed to talk alone in person. Apparently, she was planning the 4th as a surprise birthday party for me after I had left to make up for forgetting my birthday, but I ruined it as I didn't go and wasn't interested. When we met up to talk, she wasn't alone and brought the kids. I was happy to see them, and they seemed happy to see me as well, but I asked for my wife and me to talk alone. When I pointed this out, she said the kids missed me, and we can talk with them here. I believe it was more of a manipulative move. I explained that this was another example of how my feelings get ignored and cast aside. How I have been ignored for a while and how that is not right by anyone. She kept apologizing. I said while I acknowledged the apologies, I don't accept them. Most of the apologies, to me, feel like they are not real. I think at this point, my wife regretted bringing the kids. After that, my oldest took the others outside to get snacks. Then, I flat out asked if there was anyone else, if she was cheating on me. She looked like I had just slapped her. She said she would never do that. I asked why she was so adamant about us doing it in February when it has been longer. She didn't know. We talked for a bit, and I finally took out 2 folders I had with me. One was a separation document, not quite a divorce, but halfway to it. The other was therapist referrals for individuals and couples. I needed her to understand how serious I was. I asked her to look over each and ask herself what she wanted, but she had to make the decision and schedule the appointments. I explained that I'm done living this way, and if she chooses to stay with me, then there are going to be major changes occurring both in our relationship and at home. I love the woman I married, had kids with, and built a life together, but I don't know where she went. My kids came back, and my 11-year-old was mad I wasn't going back with them that night. My wife contacted me the next day, saying she has made appointments for herself and for us. She explained that she set up some bi-weekly individual therapy, and we have our first couples therapy early next month. The reason for the wait was so she could work on herself first. So, it's still a work in progress. I'm not in as dark of a place as I was when I first posted. Some things are better than they were. I'm willing to put in the work, but it won't be one-sided. There is a plan moving forward, so that's A+. I have been home for a week now but I am sleeping in a different room. Some changes have been put in place already, but time will be the real test. Update 2. After the first post, I planned and almost committed to ending things that night. I kept going over and over in my head. If I were gone, then their problems would be solved. They could move on with a new dad and husband who they would love more than me. Who they would show more love than they have shown me. I was the cause of everything that went wrong in their life. My wife probably has a replacement that could just step in and be a real dad and husband to them. Something snapped me out of it. It still sounds weird, but it was as if I could see and hear my 11-year-old. She has been the one who has made me feel loved, wanted, and cared for throughout most of this, both before and after I left. From what I now understand, my wife was pushing for them to give me space, but my youngest wouldn't accept it. She kept pushing for them to reach out, track me down, and find me. She had a weird feeling. I initially hid the fact that I was at the point of ending things from my therapist. After my last update, I told her. She could tell I wasn't as open with her until that point, and that changed the tone of our sessions. As for my wife, she did commit to her individual therapy and I started to see some changes in her. I looked into whether she was cheating, and I found nothing. No texts, messages, emails, unexplained expenses, weird locations, absences, photos, apps, nothing. So she's either really good at covering her tracks, or she didn't cheat. Things really blew up in our couples therapy session. This was just after I opened up to my individual therapist about my unalive thoughts. I just opened up to them and told them everything. Where my head was at, my thoughts at the time, how close I came, what stopped me, and how long I had thought about it, everything. My wife looked at me with a sense of horror. She looked at me and started yelling, "How could you be so selfish?" The therapist calmed her down, and I started talking again. I went deeper into how badly my wife and kids hurt me. That there is no way she didn't know about Father's Day or my birthday. How I still suspect that she has been cheating on me. How the dark thoughts started after my mother passed away and my wife stopped being my wife. She has been gone for a while, checked out. My wife was loving, playful, honest, trustworthy, a fantastic partner, and the love of my life. I can't be with this stranger she became. I just went off and unloaded. The therapist said we needed a break to cool down and meet back in 5 minutes, but I just walked out and left. I know it was immature and childish. When I cooled down enough, I saw I had a bunch of missed calls and texts. My 17-year-old ended up picking me up since my car was at home. It was the first time she saw me actively cry. I think that got her to understand how much weight was crushing me. We talked for a long while, more than we had in a long time, and I got more out of that conversation than I have in the last few years. We got back home, and my other 2 kids ran to me and hugged me, not like a side hug, but an actual hug. That felt so good. My wife approached me slowly and asked for a hug as well. I gave her half of one, and she started crying. We, as a family, hung out for a while, and when bedtime came around, my wife asked to talk. She did say that she thought she was losing me around when my mom passed, that I had checked out of our marriage, but didn't go into detail. She said she's still working through some things, and when she has a better understanding of herself, she will bring it to the table. She then broke down and said that she really didn't know how bad it was. She's sorry but vowed to do anything she can to make it up to me and be a better partner. She's trying, and I do see improvement, but why did it have to get to this point? I'm so numb that I keep asking myself if she really meant that or if they're just empty words. I don't know if that's the medication talking or how I'm thinking nowadays. Some days I feel like my mind is like when an old TV has static because of a bad signal. My therapist said it's like I've been an actor playing a character for so long that I don't know how to be myself. I don't know if that makes sense to anyone else, but I feel the truth in it. I need to find myself first and then work on other relationships. My wife and I did go on a date. She planned it, and it was fun, and I had a genuine smile, but in the back of my mind, I was wondering if this was genuine. I am not sure what will happen in the future. Time will tell.